After appearing on psychologist and author Jordan Peterson's podcast, conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is once again being talked about widely on social media. The pair have overlapping audiences and shared some opinions in the interview that have caused a stir, even getting the attention of Elon Musk. Tessa Bennett joins us in studio with more on this. Good evening, Tessa.
Good evening, Manisa. In the hour-and-a-half-long episode, Poilievre and Peterson delved into several topics. The one that stuck out to listeners, though, was the issue of racism in Canada, with the Conservative leader implying it stems from woke culture.
That wokeism has reinserted.
Canadian politics continue to dominate much of the discourse on social media, now even getting the attention of Elon Musk. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre appeared on Jordan Peterson's podcast on Thursday, where Peterson made it clear whose side he's on, introducing Poilievre as,
barring catastrophe and God willing, Canada's next Prime Minister.
And while the pair spent most of their time talking about the Canadian economy and mounting challenges facing the country, it was neither of these points that drummed up the attention online. Poilievre asserted that Canada has, quote, an obsession with race, something he and Peterson believe is caused by the concept of wokeism.
It seems that he's saying there was no racism in Canada before Justin Trudeau got elected with his woke agenda. I think there may be a few people in Canada, including the Indigenous citizens in Canada, who would disagree with that. Many Black and racialized Canadians would disagree with that.
We think of Peterson as being this notorious leader of the culture wars against wokeness. And, coincidentally, Pierre Poilievre has released a video in the last couple of days entitled Wackos, the Weird, Wild, Woke, and Wonderful World of the People Running the Country.
Julie Simmons is referring to a nearly 12-minute-long video released by Poilievre earlier this week.
There's probably nothing to fear from most wackos. They often serve as an odd form of entertainment. But what happens if they get into positions of power? What happens if they run a government?
Back to the podcast, Peterson took the obsession with race point even further.
We basically, what would you say, imported and invented racism in Canada.
Musk then decided to throw his 2 cents in, calling it great to his more than 210 million followers on X. The Tesla CEO committed his money and influence to the Trump campaign in the U.S. presidential election and will soon hold a government title under Trump's command. Which begs the question, could his apparent endorsement of the Conservative leader have influence over voters in Canada?
I suppose he would say he's just expressing an opinion and that he's making a fair comment.
Meantime, the public tension between Trudeau and Poilievre continues to intensify as Canada prepares for a federal election in the fall.
We have a prime minister who is dedicated to an extremely radical ideology.
Trudeau's Liberal Party remains shaky, with MP Marco Mendicino adding his name to the list of Liberals who will not be seeking re-election. The former cabinet minister made the announcement Thursday night, saying in a statement he will continue to serve as MP for Toronto's Eglinton Lawrence riding for the rest of the parliamentary session, but also reiterating his criticism of the way the government has responded to the conflict in the Middle East. Mendicino was formerly a key player in Ottawa before being shuffled out of Trudeau's cabinet in 2023.
I think what it says is people read the writing on the wall, that there's going to be an election sometime sooner or later this year, and that many of those who came in with Justin Trudeau are going out with him or his legacy.
Poilievre is entering the election year riding high in public opinion polls, with a new Nanos report today saying the Conservatives have a 26-point lead over the Liberals.